to use these shift registers that I showed here, what you have to do if you want to have some fun is you can make yourself a binary translator. This one here I call it the 16-bit translator into a 16-bit number. But what I'll show you first, if you type in 1, you make 1 bit come on. And if you type in 2, only 1 bit comes on again. If you type in 4, 1 bit comes on again. And we'll do 8. And we'll do 16. And we'll do 32. And we'll do 64. 64. There we go. There's 64. I'm doing this all in the dark, that's why I can't see it. 128. Alright, we got to see how 1 bit only shows up all the time. Now we got 2, 5, 6. And see again. And then we got 5, 1, 12. And 5, 1, 2 is 5, 12. And then we got 10, 24. And we see that. Now we got 20, 48. See that? 20, 48. Then we got 40, 96. And then we got 8, 1, 92. And then we got 16, 3, 84, I believe. See that? And now the very, very last one is 32, 7, 68. And all will light up because the thing's taking time. There's the last digit. And that's how you count in binary if you want to know all the 16-bit sequences. Each bit will only light up to its perspective light that you see here as LED. So it's always great to use a shift register as LEDs or even a LED display. That way you can see what you're doing to see if it's actually correct. And as you can see or will see, I got two 8-bit shift registers hooked up to each other. Daisy chained them together. And at the very end of this video, you'll see the diagrams on how to hook the basic parts up on getting the registers to go with a little Python segment and stuff like that. But for now, we are going to show you around this binary translator, but we're going to turn some light on and get a little bit used to things here. Okay, you won't see the display that good, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about the display. Even though it works, it can't be seen here. But if I take a binary number and I go way over it, we'll say 5 like this, and it says value exceeds 16-bit range, and then it shows you the number it can only go to, which is 65,535. And just to make sure it is, we'll just do it again. Yeah, 65,535. And that's how we do that part there. And what else can I show you? Yeah, let's say if I push a letter by accident, it'll give me an error. I designed this whole program to make it do this. And if you type in, let's say, a letter by itself, you get an error. And if you type in a letter with a number, you'll get an error. And if you type in a number with a letter, you'll get an error. And I just didn't make a quick close part of program on here, but I did make a keyboard stop interrupt to reset the GPIO pins. But now if I type in 65,535, it'll take a minute to process almost. But that's the actual full bit number right there. And then you can't see on here, but the lights actually go from these RGBs go from cyan to pink. Pink is when it's showing you the number. It shows you what the binary number is. They go pink even though it looks red. And then when you make a number that's too high for the thing to do that, it shows yellow. For caution, you exceeded the bit range, the 16-bit range. Now if I go, if I do it again, if I go like this and make an error, that's red. That's red right there. And it gives you 2 beeps. I got 2 speakers hooked up to this thing, which I will show you the layout in a minute. But this is just a quick introductory to the ones and zeros and stuff like that. And so I'll just now I can just show you the layout and what I will do next down the road. Hey y'all, step inside my office, and I'm going to show you around this little contraption of mine here, this Raspberry Pi. And as you can see, this is the way I keep all my stuff laid out. I keep my LCD hung up so it doesn't get dropped or anything. And I got my keyboard, cordless keyboard here all set up. And I got my mouse. I wish I had a cordless mouse though, but it's going to have to do for now. But this is the inside of my Pi, my Raspberry Pi right there. That's what you see inside it right there. And there's my ribbon cable. It comes out of the Raspberry Pi GPIO pin socket right there, a great big long thing. And it goes all the way into the breadboard cobbler. As you can see, I hope, that blue thing, that blue long thing, that cobbler, that's called a cobbler. And then right here is where I got all these little tiny red wires, if you can see them, and they're all going to actual ports that I actually made up right here with a little core wire. If you can see it, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little core wire in between the breadboard divider down there. There's little orange wires. There we go. See them? That's what is there. Now these things that make all the business to the thing are right here. These little 74 HC 595 shift registers. There are, believe it or not, 2 of them, but with all this bird nest here, you can't see them that good. But they're right there if you can actually see them. They're joined right side by side, almost. You can just make them out, but I can't get the camera in there. It's just too big, the camera, to go in there. But these are all my 16-bit LEDs here that I've used for the binary notations and stuff. Sorry for the bad quality in some of the videos, it's that I'm not very good at the camera. I'm better with electronics and computers than I am with the camera. Other than that though, this is the way I keep my layout. And if you notice, I'm running on 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23 resistors, because I have to have 3 resistors for these great big RGB lights that are on each end of this stream of lights here. And so what I do is I make it so I use this breadboard for the power only. I also got a couple of little tiny jumper wires that you can see, that core wire right there, that little long little tiny thing. I got one of them jumping into here to will eventually jump into here, making power go from here to go to here. And so I got a ground for the LED, for the RGB, and that yellow one is for the buzzard, speaker buzzard, whatever you want to call it. These, I got one here, and I put one here, and I tried to make it sound like stereo, but they each have a little bit of a different sound. Don't really care for them much, but it came with the kit, so I thought I'd try and learn it. So I'm kind of ahead of the kit a bit. I'm 5 months into this Raspberry Pi. I'm just a little under 5 months, and the things I got to do with it already are just mind-blowing. I mean, seriously mind-blowing. I had to learn a lot. I had to do a lot of research. I got everything off for now, and as you can see, this is my Raspberry Pi fan. This here is great to have with these kits that you get. I got, I think, a mechanical kit is what it was, but I got that there like this. And even though the machine's off, I always make sure I have no wires touching anything that could be metal. Even if it's laying on metal, at least the pins aren't on the metal. So I'm always careful of that too. And my little LED display, I usually keep it there, but when I was doing the other stuff, I had it behind there. But some of the footage didn't come out that good. I'm a little bit disappointed, but I ain't gonna do it again. I just kind of wanted to get you guys knowing what the Raspberry Pi was kind of all about. and I will do segments of ones and zeros and things like that, and I will do programs and actually post them so people can actually write this stuff down that I make, but it'll be the bare bones copies of things that won't be as elaborate as I show here, with all the twinkling lights and the buzzards and stuff. I'll just give you the formula to making an 8-bit binary sequence run or a 16-bit binary sequence run if you want. And do two both. So that way, if you're using one shift register, you use an 8-bit. If you're using two shift registers, you can use a 16-bit translator program that you can actually write your own formulas and stuff. That took me a couple of weeks. Yeah, I guess I think about 8 days to really think of how to do the ones and the zeros, because I know what two's complement means. So I had to do a forward loop and a backward loop and a forward loop. So that's in the backward loop. Actually, it looks like it's counting forward, but really it's counting backward. And I didn't mean for that to happen, but it's just the way I think binary works. And it's two's complement. I always call it a ones complement because it's easier for me to remember. But as for ones and zeros going, everything, I've only been into this for 5 months, and I can't believe I've done this far so far. All these wires here are dedicated to you, Corrienne. So I said this one was all for you. I wasn't kidding, was I? I thought starting off with 5 or 6 or 10 wires was good, but nah, I can't even count how many wires I got here. I got so much going on here. I got this blue strip down here. I got more GPIO ports I can use, but I got nothing to come up to right now. And the reason I can use them is because the shift registers took all the LEDs for me, and I only need 3 ports, 3 GPIO pins to actually run that, and that's right here. They are right here. I can't focus on them here. They're right there. If you can see them, they're right there. You just see them, but there's 3 of them on there, and they run these shift registers here. They run these 2 little, I can't get in there with this. There we go, I can go like that maybe. But this is the layout of my actual layout, and I can change it. I can take these rolls of LEDs out, and I can change things around, and then keep the same wires here. You actually keep all these wires here and just put them back into the sockets and stuff. Now I'll show you that my next pieces I'm going to use down the road. And finally, this is my new little plans. I'm going to try to learn all about how to hook these little segments up here. There's one little segment. It's going to be a display of a number, but it'll take resistors too, and all these pins will hook up to the resistors as well. And then this one here is it's got 4 of them on it, which is going to be a lot of fun. And this one here, though, this one, I think it will be the very first thing I try to learn. Either this one, because this is a little light strip you can make, and there's 8 on there, which is great. I can actually make a shift register do something with that. In fact, the shift registers are going to do everything. And these shift registers I'm using, they can't count backward, they can't shift backwards, they only shift forward. Some of the things I do, they look like they're shifting backward, but they're not really shifting backward. I'm just using quick for loops and everything to do all that. But this here is a little LED metrics, and then it's 8x8, which is 64. I can't wait to use this little guy, but he's not different colors, he's just all white. But again, he's got little pins on the bottom of him too, eh? He looks like a real bad boy. And so I'm going to be using him, and so I'll be learning this stuff for a while, so I probably won't come up with another Pi video right away. But when I do, it'll be to do with one of these little guys here. It'll be a lot of fun, trust me. It's all going to be a lot of fun. But that's going to be a lot of fun for me learning, that's going to be for sure. And sometimes that's fun, sometimes it can be tedious, because I'm new to all this stuff. I never did electronics of any kind, other than computer programming and putting a Rollmaster together. And that was pretty much it through my life. But this here, since about I think the last week of January, I got that little tiny monitor, and I started to use this Pi, and then I've been using it since, and I got this far so far, and I haven't got myself electrocuted yet, and I kind of hope I don't either. That wouldn't be nice. But this is all what I've been doing so far, and this is my next projects. So until then, I hope you enjoyed the little tour of Raspberry Pi 4, the way I lay it out, and it might be a good idea for others to lay this out the same way. As I said, you know, I got one separate board just for the power alone. And I might use that little tiny black wire right down there that you can see as a little jumper as a ground to jump these wires over here that are on the very ends of the breadboard. So I'm using 3 negative rails, and so far I'm not really using any positive rails. Yeah, I am. I'm using 1 positive rail and 3 negative rails is what I'm using on the breadboards combined. The positive rails are right there. I'll combine with negative wires going to the negative leads back there. And then we got the negatives on this side here going, negative rails going to here. And I got negative rails that are jumping from here going to this. And boy, I just, wires everywhere. So, Corrienne, especially you of all people, even though some of the camera shots and the video of showing the translator weren't too good, I wasn't ready for that. I'm not a camera guy, never said I was, but this is my masterpiece right here, and it just suited that poem perfect. I hope I gathered all my wires so far, because sure is a lot of them. I mean, there's a lot of them. I got like, I don't know, man, 30 wires at least hooked up to here. I think 32 wires I got in total, and then I probably got a lot more now that I've used these little bridge jumpers here. Yeah, I could have had it where they're right in front of the resistors. I did, but they kept knocking into things and kind of shimmying and shortening out. So I decided to put the resistors here far away from the actual leads. That way I only have to worry about dangling these wires around here without worrying about touching these. And that way everything stays quiet, everything stays still, and that's my work. And then when I sit down here, I got my trusty computer where I can look at my ports. As I said in one video, these ports are always evolving. I never seem to use the same ones over again. In fact, when I tear the project apart, I won't be using the same ports here either, except for what's here. But I won't be using the shift registers when I don't need them. But right now, for these projects here, I'm going to need them. They're going to be fun. So yeah, the shift registers are going to become quite in use. And since I only got an 8 display flow matrix right here, I only need 1 chip to do, so all I got to do is physically unplug one of the wires. That's all I got to do, or have it so each one's hooked up to a different thing. And that way, at least it won't show the same number, it'll show something different. So maybe I'll use these 2, one for this shift register and one for the other one. Have 2 of these things going. Things like that. So I don't know, we got a lot that I'm going to do anyway, but these are what I'm working on next. And then here is just great that I can look at everything here. And I got my pin layout, it's just perfect for anything I want to do. And I always got this little skull here. It kind of reminds me, don't electrocute myself, or I'm going to look like him. So yeah, this thing's pretty safe. Raspberry Pis are pretty safe. Just don't do stupid stuff to them and they'll be alright. It just runs like a giant battery. Just forget that it's plugged in. It's usually between 5 volts and 3 volts. 3 volts is what this, the RGBs are using 3 volts. These RGBs, they're on the 3 volt side. And this big LCD is on the 5 volt side of the cobbler. The left side is 3 volts, right side is 5 volts. And so it's only like one giant battery. Just don't let the plug intimidate you. But yeah, to get a Raspberry Pi though, I suggest that you know something about programming, because this is fun for a computer, but it's pretty slow just to use for a computer. It's meant to do breadboarding, I think, anyway. So if you ever do get a Raspberry Pi, be prepared to want to do stuff like this. Okay, this concludes the video. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.